The funeral flowers hadn't even dried when the whispers began. How could a powerful CEO, a man admired by thousands, possibly move on so quickly? And not just move on, but marry a poor girl from his own extended family? The news spread like wildfire, shaking the business world and dividing his relatives. Some called it betrayal, others called it madness. But no one knew the truth behind his shocking decision. Armin Malik was a name that commanded respect. As the CEO of a billion-dollar company, he was known for his sharp mind, calm personality, and loyalty to family. For 15 years, he had been married to his elegant and kind-hearted wife, Sanaa. Together, they were considered the perfect couple, powerful, graceful, and deeply in love. But fate had other plans. Sanaa passed away after a sudden illness, leaving Armin completely shattered. The once confident CEO stopped attending business meetings. He avoided public events. He spent hours alone in his quiet mansion, staring at old photographs and replaying memories in his mind. His employees worried. His relatives whispered. But no one could understand the emptiness he felt. Among the many relatives who visited to offer condolences was Aisha, a distant cousin from his mother's side. She lived in a small village and came from a poor background. Her father had passed away years ago, and she supported her sick mother by stitching clothes for neighbors. She had always been quiet, respectful, and invisible in family gatherings. Unlike others, Aisha didn't try to impress Armin. She didn't offer fake sympathy or speak about his wealth. Instead, she simply listened. She made tea for the guests. She helped organize the house when everyone else left. She treated him like a grieving human being, not a powerful CEO. Days turned into weeks. Armin noticed something different about her. When everyone else returned to their comfortable lives, Aisha stayed back to help his elderly mother. She would gently remind Armin to eat. She would leave food outside his study room, without saying a word. Slowly, her silent care began to soften the walls around his heart. One evening, during a power outage, they sat in the garden under the dim light of candles. For the first time since Anah's death, Armin spoke openly. He talked about fear, loneliness, and guilt. He confessed that he felt like he had failed his wife by not saving her. Aisha didn't offer dramatic comfort. She simply said, "Some losses are not punishments. They are tests of strength." Those words stayed with him. Meanwhile, inside the family, tensions were growing. Armin's uncles and cousins were more concerned about his wealth than his grief. They began discussing potential alliances with wealthy families, hoping Armin would remarry someone rich and powerful. To them, marriage was strategy. But Armin had started seeing life differently. One afternoon, he overheard two relatives mocking Aisha in the kitchen. They laughed at her worn-out clothes and whispered that she would always remain just a poor village girl. Something inside him changed that day. For the first time in months, Armin felt anger, not for himself, but for her. He realized that while he had lost his wife, Aisha had been quietly fighting battles her entire life. Poverty, responsibility, loneliness. Yet she carried herself with dignity. A week later, during a family dinner, Armin stood up and made an announcement that froze the entire room. "I have decided to remarry." Murmurs filled the hall. Some smiled in relief. But before anyone could celebrate, he continued, "I will be marrying Aisha." Silence. One aunt nearly dropped her glass. His uncle protested immediately. "Have you lost your mind? She is poor. She has no status. What will people say?" Armin's voice was calm but firm. "People said many things when Sanaa and I built our life from nothing. I didn't listen then. I won't listen now." The backlash was intense. Business partners questioned his judgment. Relatives accused Aisha of trapping him. Social media buzzed with rumors. Some even claimed he married her out of pity. But the truth was far deeper. Armin didn't marry Aisha because she was poor. He married her because she was strong. Because she didn't see him as a bank account. Because she reminded him that life wasn't about status. It was about sincerity. At first, married life wasn't easy. Aisha struggled to adjust to the luxurious lifestyle. She felt uncomfortable with expensive clothes and high society events. She often made small mistakes at formal gatherings, which became topics of gossip. One evening, after a particularly embarrassing event where she mispronounced the name of an international guest, she broke down in tears. "I don't belong in your world," she said. Armin held her hand gently. "This world doesn't define me, and it certainly doesn't define you." Instead of forcing her to change, Armin encouraged her to study. He arranged private tutors, not to transform her into someone else, but to help her grow confidently. Slowly, Aisha began learning about business communication and leadership. What surprised everyone was how quickly she adapted. Within a year, she wasn't just attending meetings, she was contributing ideas. Her experience with poverty gave her a different perspective. She suggested launching a social program to support widows and underprivileged women who wanted to start small businesses. Armin loved the idea. Together, they launched a foundation in Sanaa's memory, dedicated to empowering women. Ironically, the same relatives who once mocked Aisha now praised her generosity in public. But Aisha never forgot where she came from. She continued visiting her village, supporting local schools and hospitals. She insisted that her mother move into the city, but kept their old house untouched as a reminder of her roots. Years passed. The critics slowly went silent as they witnessed the couple's genuine bond. Their marriage wasn't built on passion alone. It was built on mutual respect and shared purpose. One evening, while standing on the balcony of their home, Armin looked at Aisha and said, "People thought I shocked the world by marrying you, but the truth is you saved my world." Aisha smiled softly. "You didn't marry a poor girl. You married someone who refused to let life make her small." The story that once began with whispers ended with admiration. In the end, Armin's decision wasn't shocking because he married within his family. It was shocking because he chose character over class, heart over status, courage over criticism. And sometimes, the bravest decisions are the ones that silence the loudest voices. So when people ask why a powerful CEO married a poor girl from his own family after his wife's death, the answer is simple. Because love doesn't look at bank balances. It looks at strength, loyalty, and the quiet hands that hold you together when the world falls apart. And that, more than anything, is what truly shocked everyone. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because you never know whose life can change in a single moment.